Oh, hi, Mark. All right, so I'm going to guess that you guys have noticed that it's been a while. And I have no excuse. It's just laziness. Um, but, as you guys will notice, something different going on back there. Because I got some new shelving. Where my horror movies now are, that's just. Those are like normal people Blu rays. Like, action movies, comedies, that sort of thing. And right down there are all my box sets. Of course, you can't make out any of them because I'm far away and picture quality's bad. Anyway, today we're not here to talk about my movies necessarily. I mean, technically we are because this is a movie review, but I mean, we're not here to talk about my collection, but more specifically a movie, right? So, the movie specifically is this movie right here, Door into Silence from Lucio Fulci. So, if you guys don't know, you probably don't. Lucio Fulci is my favorite director of all time. Um, I started out not huge on Fulci, which is really weird. And then as I rewatched his movies more and more, I became more and more partial to Fulci's style and just his movies in general. Um, and so I've been trying to watch every single Fulci horror film because, if I'm being honest, I'm only really interested in his horror movies and a few of his non-horror, like Contraband and For of the Apocalypse, stuff like that. Um, but I'm I watched Door into Silence. Like literally, I just got done watching it. It was like 30 seconds ago. A little bit of an over exaggeration, maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes ago, but literally just got over. I didn't take any notes. I didn't anticipate to review this, but I watched it and I felt like this would be um, a fairly quick review to do because I didn't really have many thoughts on it, but I also felt that I wanted to rant a little bit about it, and it would just be a quick little video to do. And since my ass has been lazy recently and hasn't really released a video, I thought this would be a good video to do. So Door into Silence came out in 1991, and it was directed and I believe written at least partially by Lucio Fulci. Um, and it shows that this is later Fulci. First of all, there's something about this movie that just looks cheap. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the type of camera that Fulci was using, or it had to have been something of that nature. Because I notice this not only in Door into Silence, but stuff like later Argento, like The Card Player, and even Trauma from Argento. And what was that other one? Well, yeah, Pelts too. Sitting here looking up there, expecting for it to jump out at me, but it's not gonna. Anyway, but yeah, some later Argento, and definitely this movie as well. The camera just looks cheap, and I don't understand it because this Fulci never had that look to him, right? Like his movies, I mean, they never had that cheap look, even though I'm sure they were all low budget. The Beyond, I don't imagine had a budget of like $12 million. The Beyond is still fantastic and it looks great and everything. But Door into Silence looks very cheap. Um, it's not like the biggest knock in the world towards the movie. I can still like a movie when it looks cheap. But this movie isn't great otherwise either, unfortunately. This movie is very uneventful. It's very one track, one note. The same thing happens over and over and over again. You know, um, this guy named Melvin Devereaux or Duvreau. I think he pronounces it Devereaux in the movie, but anyway, Melvin Devereaux is on his way somewhere. We don't really even know where this somewhere is, and he a number of times gets stuck behind this hearse, and the driver of the hearse is acting like an asshole, and he keeps swerving in front of him when he tries to pass, and he's going super slow, and he's driving like a dick. To be fair, Melvin's driving like a douche too. He really is. Like, first of all, the first thing Melvin tries is to honk his horn at the guy, and then to ride his tail. Why? Like, these are people that just drive like jerks just to drive like jerks. I swear to the almighty. Because, like, there's no reason for this. If your original intent was to pass him, then just pass him. It's cool, man. Just pass. No one likes getting honked at, and no one likes it when you ride their tail. Which honestly could potentially explain why the hearse driver started driving like a jerk. Just saying, road rage is a thing. But anyway, yeah, that's like the main source of tension in this movie, and I don't really think it works. If anything, it kind of makes me mad, just the way these two are driving. Like, stop driving like 2-year-olds. Like, get over it, kiss and make up. But that happens over and over again. And it's like, this movie must have taken an hour to write, because constantly this guy's in his car. I mean, the budget for this movie must have been the budget of a potato. It really must have, because most of this movie takes place in this guy's car, and he's just driving. And then he'll meet this woman who is seemingly obsessed with him, which we never really understand why she's obsessed with him. Like, it doesn't really make sense, unless she's supposed to be death, which I guess would sort of make sense, right? Because she's there at the scene of the accident in the end of the film. This has full spoilers, by the way. I'm going to put that in the title. Just expect, especially old movies, but even probably newer movies, they're going to be spoiler reviews. I don't need to do non-spoiler reviews, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, like, this whole movie is he's driving, and then he meets this woman who is seemingly obsessed with him, and I guess maybe she's death, because she does show up at the end of the film, and she tells him that she'll meet him at the crossroads of whatever, and she's there at the scene of the accident, because in the end of the film, he ultimately is trying to pass this hearse that's constantly in front of him, which turns out not to be a real hearse. I don't fully get that. Like, what was this hearse then? Was it a ghost hearse? What was it? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what the hell that thing was. Was it supposed to be a ghost? Like, I can't think of anything else that it would be. Because the truck driver who ends up hitting the guy's car says that he didn't see any other car in the road. But that this guy was driving like a maniac, and he looked like he was trying to pass someone. So, I really don't know. It was pretty poorly done. It was pretty poorly done. At this hearse driver, he's acknowledged by other people in the movie as well. So how is he a ghost? And then at points in the movie, this Melvin guy is ignored by people. Like this guy he knows, who, by the way, this guy isn't like a character. He's not a pre-existing character. Melvin just starts yelling this guy's name. I don't remember the guy's name, but like he sees him at a gas station and starts yelling his name. So we understand that Melvin knows this guy, but I don't know who he is. Like this guy could be Melvin's 7th grade math teacher for all we know. We don't know who he is. He's not a pre-existing character, but Melvin just starts yelling his name, and we're led to believe that he can't hear Melvin for whatever reason, which almost makes it seem like Melvin's dead, but he's not dead because he dies in the end of the movie. and so he's not dead then, but he's dead now. I don't get this movie. I really do. I really don't. And then there's a point in the movie, this is just kind of a funny little thing worth mentioning, at least I think it is. There's a point in this movie where he's just in the woods, looking for sticks to try to get his car out of a hole. Which, by the way, I don't know how that works. Do you like try to get him kind of under, in a way to give it traction? I really don't know, but anyway, he's looking for sticks to get his car out of this little mud hole that he got himself into, and there's a hunter who's obviously out there hunting because he's whistling like a bird. And he draws his gun right to where Melvin is standing. And Melvin's like, oh God, no! Don't kill me! Whatever. And the guy shoots a bird that was like next to the guy, and he's like, man, you must be crazy, you thought I was gonna shoot you? I'm sitting here thinking, you must be crazy. What are you doing? You have someone downrange and you're gonna fire. Alright, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Lucky for him it did this time, but it might not next time. So that was interesting, but this movie it's so strange, and just the best way I can describe this movie, honestly, is that it's a little like it's like a long length Twilight Zone episode, and that's not a big praise, really. At times it feels like a Goosebumps episode. At times it's like Twilight Zone in the plot, Goosebumps in the quality. Is how best I can describe this movie. I don't really recommend this film, unfortunately. And that is actually the best thing about this film, though, is the Twilight Zone-esque plot. It's kind of interesting. It does kind of keep you guessing, in a way, because you're like, okay, what's going on here? But then it doesn't really explain anything to you, so you can't really praise it for that. You can't really praise it for the mystery if the mystery never pays off. And unfortunately, in this film, the mystery never really pays off. Believe me, I wanted to like this film a whole lot more than I did. I had heard this was one of Fulci's worst. I didn't want to believe it, because I'm a Fulci fan. But I have to agree, this might be my least favorite Fulci film. I'll have to rewatch Manhattan Baby, because I think previously that's my least favorite, but right now I do think it's Door into Silence. It's just too kerbobbled, to borrow Cindy Lou Who's word from the Grinch. I don't know why that came into my mind, but that's the word that came to mind. Everything's just too strange in this film. It mostly takes place in a car. You're left feeling very bored by it. And I genuinely, I feel bad about this, but I genuinely think I would be being too generous if I gave this film any more than a 4.5. And that might even be generous. This isn't the best film in the world, guys. Like I said, I don't really recommend it unless you are a Fulci fan. I mean, if you want to watch all of Fulci's films, this is one that I mean, it's worth the watch. And, you know, I bought it so I could have it in the collection. And so it'll probably collect dust in my collection. And that's fine. I'm a bit of a completist, especially with Lucio Fulci. Just because I'd like to have all his movies, but... Well, all his horror movies. And this was his last film. So, I mean, directors in their later years don't turn out super great. Dario Argento hasn't done much great in his later years. Oh God, John Carpenter. He made The Ward. Oof, The Ward. That's probably my least favorite, like, later year movie from a director is John Carpenter's The Ward. That movie bothers me so damn much. But anyway, I'm at this point I'm just droning on about the films of directors' later careers, which isn't what I came here to do. I came here to review Door into Silence. I've done that. It's about a 4.5 for me. Any higher and it would just be too damn high. There are a few decent sequences. Probably the best is the scene in the morgue. As far as suspense goes, you know, he keeps opening coffins and they all say Melvin Genevieve. Villeneuve. I don't know, man. Whatever I said before, I know that one's not right. It was some French shit. But whatever. I forgot it already. If I ever rewatch this movie again, it's gonna be years down the line. And then when I rewatch it, I'm going to instantly go, that's why I haven't rewatched this movie. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the review. I'll catch you on the next one.